couple of weeks, I've kind of changed things up a little bit. I found that I missed being closer to you. In my center, where I came from several years ago, I was right up close with people, and I felt it, and I felt the energy. And so a couple of weeks ago, I decided that I wanted to come down on the floor so that I could feel you. And I'm liking it. Are you liking it? Okay, I'm liking it too. So I think we're going to keep it for a little while. And so that's the reason why this is happening. So I wanted to share with you, it's very popular in centers like this to spend a lot of time talking about being all you can be and taking risks and reach for the stars, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's good stuff. I love it. It teaches us how to have happy and loving and prosperous and fulfilling, meaningful lives. Absolutely. And sometimes we forget that the very essence of our teaching, called the science of mind, not Scientology, the science of mind, the very essence of our teaching is healing. It's healing the mind, the body, the spirit. In fact, the word healing and heal is mentioned 548 times in the Science of Mind textbook. The word health is mentioned 183 times. So you can tell this is important. This is the basis of our teaching. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the idea that health, along with happiness and joy and prosperity and all that other stuff, all of that, but health is one of the cornerstones of what we teach. So there's this story about a very pious couple who decide that they need to go find themselves a very pious dog to go along with their piety. So they go to a very pious pet store, and they explain to the man what it is that they're looking for. And the man says, I've got the perfect dog for you. And he calls the dog out, and he says, go get it. And the dog runs over and gets the Bible and starts pawing through it with its little dog claws. And they say, find Psalm 46 or whatever, and it finds it. Well, this pious couple is so impressed by this, they buy the dog and they take it home. And they want to share it with their friends, right? So they invite their friends over and they say, look what the dog can do. Find a Psalm 23. And the dog goes and gets it and presents it to it. And the people are pretty impressed, right? The friends are pretty impressed. But they said, but, like, does he do regular commands? Like, is this the only thing? Does he do regular commands? And the people said, well, we don't know. Let's try. So they called the dog over, and they said, heal. And the dog walks over to the man, puts his paw up, and bows his head. Heal! Okay. In case you didn't get it. Okay. So, back on topic here, new thought. We believe that health is normal. Dis-ease is abnormal. Now that's a pretty bold statement, especially in this era of the advertising industry that tries to convince us that illness is normal, right? I mean, buy this product for your cold, buy this product for your romance, right? Buy this product for your heartburn, buy this product for your whatever. And the thing about it is, those ads are so alluring. They're so enticing. They're so full of happy and beautiful people living happy and beautiful lives that I sometimes catch in myself thinking, I don't even care what it's for. I want to take that medicine so I can live that life. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But the truth is, health, perfect, vital, good health is normal, it is natural, and it is the way that we're meant to live. So the question is, how do we know it's normal? We're not being told that. So how do we know that health is normal? I want you to think about this. When we are feeling good and healthy, we don't talk about it, do we? We just go on about our business, doing our thing. But when we are sick, we whine and complain. So which one seems just going about your business or you're whining and complaining. Health is natural. It is normal. So then the question becomes, if health is normal, and I believe that it is, how come we experience physical challenges? How come we have things like illness and disease and aches and pains and that type of thing? Well, Ernest Holmes, our founder, has a little something to say about that. He said, man's life in reality is spiritual and mental. And until his thought is healed, no form of cure will be permanent. He goes on to say, spiritual man is perfect, but his individual use of life and law enables him to cover a perfect idea with an apparently imperfect cloak. So the illness that we have is the imperfect. And it is made up of false ideas and false beliefs that we have about ourselves and about our bodies. Now, I want to be very clear here, folks, that we don't consciously decide to make ourselves sick or to hurt ourselves physically. The thing is that most of these thought patterns that lead to illness or lead to dis-ease are deeply ingrained. They're very well hidden. You know, our minds, our subconscious minds are like a mainframe computer. And these things are running in the background. And we don't always know that they're there. We may never know what the exact thought pattern is that caused us to have a disease or a physical challenge. But the good news is we don't need to know that. We can start from where we are. Ernest Holmes always says, start from where you are. So we can start from where we are, and we can work to overcome, to override the negative thoughts and beliefs by consciously replacing them with positive, life-affirming, healthy thoughts. But before that will work, we have to understand, we have to accept that it is our thoughts and it is our beliefs that are contributing to ill health or to poor health or to aches and pains. And this is a very hard concept to get, especially if you're manifesting something that is unpleasant or maybe life-threatening. No one wants to believe that they're making themselves sick or that they cause themselves harm. Nobody wants to think that. But like I said, nobody's doing this on purpose. We do it in part because we are not dealing with the effects and the circumstances of our lives. We're stuffing our emotions. We're nursing old hurts. Maybe none of you. I know I sometimes do that. But we do it by not practicing forgiveness. We do it by not learning how to handle stress. We do it by listening to our parents and our spouses and our kids and the television and our coworkers talking about illness being normal. Anybody besides me grow up in a family that believed that illness was actually normal and natural? Yeah. People do. But here's the good news. If unconscious thought has caused an illness or a disease, then conscious, focused, directed thought can uncause it. That make sense?
Yeah.
You with me? I want to give you an example. Years ago, I had a friend who had a completely frozen shoulder. It was rendered almost useless. She had pain, she had lack of mobility, everything. And she'd been to doctors who basically told her that it might be permanent and they didn't really know what to do about it. So the situation with my friend was she had a boyfriend, and she's like my age, and she'd been with this guy for a long time, but he was a commitment phobe. He did not want to be in a committed relationship. She had a mother who was in the end stages of Alzheimer's. Her sister had just been diagnosed with MS, and her job consisted of being on the phone all day long, listening to people complain and trying to solve their problems. So this was her life. Commitment phobe, boyfriend, sick mother, sick sister, and her job was listening to people complain all day long. So from the looks of it, it was as if this woman was literally carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. And she didn't know how to let it go. She didn't know how to release it. So at one point, she decided to go on a retreat to Northern California, which was away from the boyfriend, away from the job, the sister, the mother, everything. She stayed in a beautiful rustic cabin in the middle of the redwoods. And she hiked and she got massages, she had energy work, she sat on the beach, she had meals with friends, and her shoulder never hurt. Not one time while she was gone. And as soon as she came home from the retreat and she picked up where she left off, her shoulder froze up again as if she had never left. And I said to her, boy, that is a strange coincidence. Coincidence, don't you think? And she's like, wow, that is strange, isn't it? Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Of course it wasn't a coincidence. When she left behind the stresses of her life, the dis-ease went away. When she picked the stress back up, the dis-ease returned again. Now, I'm not advocating that everybody quit their jobs and leave their families and go live in the redwoods. Maybe. That would be cool. But, you know, we have lives here. My friend was not going to leave her boyfriend. She wasn't going to abandon her mom. She wasn't going to quit her job. But she needed to find ways of dealing with the conditions of her life. Because the truth is, we all have stress. Everybody has stress. So we need to learn how to deal with the stress in positive and life-affirming ways. So, of course, one of the ways that we do this, probably, in my opinion, the most effective way. Making healthy choices is an effective thing. But I'm talking about the spiritual part of it. And so what I know to be the most effective way is to have your consistent spiritual practice. Something that allows you to connect with the divine. A habit or a practice that allows you to remember who you are. Because who you are is a spiritually perfect expression of God that may be covered with an imperfect cloak. But who you are is spiritually perfect. So anything that we can do to remember that, anything that we can do to live in that place to the best of our ability, that's the practice. So it might be meditation for you, it might be affirmations, it might be chanting, it might be yoga, it might be spending time in nature. It doesn't matter. Just find something that affirms and connects you with that life force and energy that is God on a regular and consistent basis. Just like you take your vitamins, just like you go to the gym, to do your spiritual practice on a regular basis. That's when it's going to keep you connected. There was an article a few years ago that had the blaring headline, get this, studies find spiritual are healthier. Like we didn't know that, right? But listen to some of the things that were the findings of this. One of them was that people who attend regular religious services are hospitalized less often and have stronger immune systems than those who never attend. No more excuse for not coming to services because you have a cold. Here's another one. People who attend church, synagogue, or a spiritual center more than once a week live an average of 8 years longer than those who don't. Repetitive prayer and meditation has been found to reduce blood pressure. Well, we know that. This one was interesting. Heart surgery patients who were assigned a chaplain spent 2 fewer days in the hospital than those who weren't. And the final one, this was really interesting, those who had someone praying for them, even if they didn't know, had 10% fewer complications. So these are pretty remarkable statistics that back up the theory that spiritual practices keep us healthier longer. So as a healing tool, one of the most effective tools that we have at our disposal in our teaching is called spiritual mind treatment. Don't let the name freak you out. Spiritual means it has to do with God. Mind meaning it has to do with cleaning up your thoughts. And treatment is just something that, doctors treat you and dentists treat you while you do a treatment. It's the same thing. It's an old-fashioned term which basically means affirmative prayer. So, I gotta find my place. I got a little confused here. I get so excited about prayer. So treatment starts. I do know how to do this. Stand back, I'm a professional. Okay. Spiritual mind treatment starts with the premise that God is all there is and that God is perfect. So you got that? God is all there is and God is perfect. Therefore, because God is all there is, we are made of the same essence as God. So spiritually, we are perfect too. In spiritual mind treatment, there's no begging and beseeching to an outside entity, please intercede on my behalf. But rather, it is a recognition of the oneness of the all and everything. And then, once we've gotten there, once we've established in mind, we begin a series of affirmative statements that are designed to override the old and replace them with the new. By doing this, we are revealing our true selves, our healthy, happy, harmonious, perfect selves. Ernest Holmes says there's nothing more to do. There's only more to reveal. There's nothing to heal. There's only more to reveal. Revealing that spiritual thing that may be covered by the imperfect part. Here's what Holmes had to say. He said, mental statements are merely a method you use for clearing up mental images. Neither affirmation nor denials nor statements create the pattern of perfection, nor can they change it. They merely rearrange your thinking. If you could rearrange your thinking instantly, you would have instantaneous results. If it takes time, do not become discouraged because you are working with a definite principle which always works. I'm going to say that last thing, do not become discouraged because you are working with a definite principle which always works, unless you become discouraged and you stop doing what you're doing and you go back into that old pattern. Does that make sense? So often what we do is God is all there is, I'm one with God, I'm in perfect health, thank you, and so it is. We plant that seed and then we're like, start uncovering it. It's not going to work. So then this perfect, definite principle has to turn around and go, I guess it's not going to work. We have to stay consistent with it. Yes? Yeah. You with me? Yeah. It's important, it is so important that we give ourselves very clear, strong, healthy messages consistently. Stick with those messages until we see the result we want. And I realize that some of you may be dealing with something serious going on. I get that. Or a loved one is. I get that. And I realize I'm making it sound real easy. Yeah, 20 minutes on a Sunday, right? But I understand it isn't easy. It's simple. It's a simple process. Change your thinking, change your life. But it isn't easy. It takes work. It takes dedication to clear the mind of the negativity that can cause illness. As Dr. Holmes said, if we would create instantaneous results if we had instantaneous knowing. If we could rearrange our thinking instantaneously, we'd have instantaneous results. But some of those old patterns are very strong, they're very tenacious, and they're deeply ingrained. Raymond Charles Barker, who was a colleague and friend of Ernest Holmes, said this: maintaining sound health is a real mental discipline. Casual thinking and an occasional pleasant thought about it is completely ineffective. Health maintenance requires consistent, definite, specific thinking to keep the whole individual consciousness at a high level. So we're going to practice that right now, okay? I'm going to ask Mark. Mark, are you back there? There he is. Like Mr. Oz, like the Wizard of Oz, he comes behind the curtain. This meditation that we're going to do was actually written by Raymond Charles Barker, and it's in his book called The Power of Decision, which we use. But I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and feel yourself beginning to relax. Put your focus on your breathing. And allow yourself to start melting into your chair. For the next few moments, there's no place you need to be. Nothing you need to be doing. Just allow yourself to relax. Perhaps you have never really imagined yourself as vital health. Right now, think about this and start creating such an image. Picture yourself as a radiant, whole being. This may take a bit of doing. And start to put action into this picture of yourself. Health is a capacity of doing. See yourself accomplishing some goal and doing it with ease. Be certain not to include any present physical limitations you may have. Make the picture perfect in every way. See youthfulness, perfect sight, perfect healing, and all other body actions and reactions as total and perfect. You are now seeing yourself as you were created to be. You are now seeing yourself as the infinite knows you to be. Such an image, held in mind for several moments, has great therapeutic power. Practice with this image on a regular basis. Put your hand on your heart and say, I am perfect, whole, and complete.
I am perfect, whole, and complete.
I am as the infinite sees me.
I am as the infinite sees me.
I am whole.
I am whole.
And when you're ready, begin to bring yourself back to this room, back to this time. You are now free to be healthy, happy, vital, energetic, and enthusiastic. So, be healed. And so it is.